you want to talk about Zimbabwe? Actually.
Oh, wow. Marriage is a sanctuary. Like, I loved being married.
Okay.
I love being in a relationship, but like a solid relationship. As in, you're my person, I'm your person.
Yeah.
We go out there, we hold hands. I walk in ready. Me, I would do my homework. I would go get the ratings. I knew how Ntombi did in terms of the demographics with the men, with the ladies, with the grandmothers. So I would go there ready. Like, I'm ready to come. Let's talk. Let me show you what this girl is doing for your show.
Yeah.
Right? And I'd be like, no, there's no point we're giving you 2% increase.
If I was to write a book, I would call you guys the original influencers.
Yes.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah. I would say that was the initial influencing when it was still credible. Hi.
Hello.
How are you? We are here.
It is that.
Yeah.
It is that. How did we get here?
Geez, Sonia, where do I start? It's been 25 years for me. And you?
25 years for you.
Exactly.
And me.
Yeah.
And together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, paralleling,
right? You on the other side, me on the other side.
Mm-hmm. There was a time when I was very scared of you.
You were scared of me?
Because you were that journalist, like, there wasn't you, and then there was you. And then we all felt it.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
And then we all felt it, and your trajectory was just too quick as well.
Yeah.
It was like one day you are... were you ever junior?
Everybody was junior.
And then
my junior phases never lasted very long.
Exactly. I think and then the next thing, because he's in charge, we were like, when did that happen? How did that happen?
Yeah.
And so there was a time when I was like...
And I'm so cool. I know I'm cool.
I know you're cool.
I'm very cool. I'm very easy.
Then I didn't know you were.
Yeah. Geez, man, it's been a ride. Yeah. But we are here now. Mm-hmm. And we've both moved on, I think, eh?
We have.
From where we both started.
Yes, we have. The thing is,
point.
You can't harbor. You have to see it for what it is. My relationship with journalists was always love and hate. Love is in, I admire what you do. I get what you do. But then the hate for me always just came from, it felt... I don't know if it was the culture. It just felt like dehumanized. Do you know what I mean? I felt there was no sense of, let's sit down. You're the only journalist that did that, by the way. Out of all of them. Let's sit down, let's talk.
Yeah.
One-on-one. And I was like, what is this? Why does she want to? Because it was a culture of either they get hold of you or they don't get hold of you, and they still go on with the story regardless. So for me, what you did, I appreciated, even though when the story came out, it still was damaging. But the fact that you set me down
and had a chat.
Yeah. Yeah. So you.
I think actually you're right. You know what happens? And I'm very transparent about this because I'm a big advocate of transparent journalism. I think we need to be transparent. And the more transparent journalism is, I believe, will help us regain some of the lost trust. I believe that if you bring your audiences closer to you in terms of them having an understanding of how you arrived where you landed, there would be a clearer appreciation of the craft and the profession that is journalism. Some people disagree, but that is not about that. But I initially, as a journalist, you are taught to remove yourself from the person, which I found to be impossible.
Right.
And a lot of the editors in that era pushed for that. Remove yourself. But how do you when you're dealing with another human, a mother, a woman, you know? So when I came in whatever space I was in, I always tried to bring in, let's speak to Sonia and let's see where we end up, and we'll end up where we end up. However that turns out, we would have spoken, a conversation would have been had, and I would actually look you in the eye and have said no, you know?
Exactly.
And then leave it to the audiences to decide for themselves.
Yeah.
But I think since we're talking about that, What do you think has changed? Do you think that has changed, or do you still feel that there is that us against them? Because that's another thing that I didn't want to.
Yeah, I mean, even in my own productions, it drives me crazy when I hear it's production. Production is like, it's crew. Crew, it's like, it's the talent. It's like, we are one. What you don't understand is that we are one in the entity of this little gadget, that it works well at the end of the day. There shouldn't be any division. There shouldn't be any divide. There shouldn't be any us and them. So it's quite frustrating. But yes, even then I felt like there was an us and them. And it was a question of, how do we gel? How do we make it work? Because I get the fact that you get a phone call, there's a source, and there's a story out there. And as the person behind the story in terms of investigating, you then now need to get to the bottom of the truth. But I always found that it was just always agenderized. I always felt like it was one-sided. I go west.
Do you think it's worse now?
Now anybody can.
But even
in terms of the old journalism, yes, you guys have grown. I mean, I don't know how many journalists in the past, and God has been amazing, in the past 5 years have literally came up to me whether we were working on a project, because now they are like PR managing the project.
Yes.
Like on, you know what I mean? Like overseeing that the project gets to move from one point to another, where we sit down and we're like, what was that all about, dude? And they're like, Sonia, I mean, I was just doing my job. There was a time when, I don't know if I can mention names, but one of the magazines, they had like an event called Darlings. Whatever Darlings.
Was it Drum Darlings?
Yes.
Which Darlings? I launched Drum Darlings.
Yes, you launched it, but there was a time, I don't know, how long did it last? 2 years, 3 years?
While I was there, it went on, and then I left, and then I
don't know if you were still there or if you had left. But, so, there was because remember, my divorce was public.
Very.
Extremely public. Like, to a point where I minimized my circle. Because I was like, who is this source? Clearly, the source is in my circle.
I want to talk to you about the source, because I'm ready to reveal who the source is. I know. I want to talk about the source.
Thank you, guys.
No, and it's not that. You know who the source is? It is always somebody close to you.
Yes. Hence, I'm saying, Gutsi, my circle then became smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then it was just me, the person, and my mom.
Yeah.
And then even with my own mother, I didn't trust. And that is the worst place to be for a woman in South Africa, man. Because our moms are our rocks. We run to them.
Why is that? Did you think she might say something unintentionally to someone?
Unintentionally to someone, and then, but it became that small.
Yeah.
That even my mother was like, I can't tell her what happened last night, because then she might be upset and phone that aunt or phone that uncle.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
And then even when it was that small, the story would still come out. Even when I knew, nope, it's me the ceiling. Do you understand? And then it would still come out. And and the prime example, we were shooting, it used to be Dinswalo, it's now called Riboville.
Yeah.
We were filming something, and then luckily they were there. It was our base camp. So we were filming Take Me Out, the SABC one.
Yeah.
And then cast goes, crew goes, then I'm left by myself as the producer, just overseeing, good to everything is okay. Tomorrow we are back in, because that was our base camp. So, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done with my job, let me go home. After midnight, 1 a.m., I'm like, I go home, I get to the gate. Okay, open the gate. Then I enter the garage. But there's this intermediate door that should never be locked. Like, never. Like, it's a rule.
Yeah.
And then now I can't access the house. So now it's a question of, do I sleep in the garage? Do I go back? I'm like, no, you left like a whole hotel bed there. By go back and be comfortable.
Why was the door locked?
The door is locked.
By somebody inside.
The door is locked.
Okay.
So now I go back
to the hotel.
I'm like, okay, I'm not going to sleep in the car. I'm not going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then the story was like, she was locked out of her house. I was like, guy, unless the gate spoke, the trees, when they saw me, they whispered to each other. And the garage door, as it closed, it was like, bye-bye. Am I making sense?
You're making perfect sense to me.
It was just like, who is this source? And I
wonder, man.
It became that culture of, it's us and them. There's a source that can't be revealed. It was just like, yeah. But I cocooned myself into that space, and I sat there and I never spoke until one day I think I broke out. Like one day I was like, I'm actually gonna talk, because I don't want it to be seen as a bashing game, but it's because I never talk about things that are present, by the way, things that are current, things that are now. You know what I mean? We have to cover them. Right, in spirit, in prayer, in whatever. But once it's passed, once it's been 12, 10 years, now you are telling your journey and your story, and you've healed. And now you're saying to the next girl, next woman, if she survived that and she is who she is, then you know what I mean? I should be fine. So
Look, since we're here, how was that for you? And I'm asking this as in your profession, do you find that there is more pressure on relationships, marriages in particular, because you are in the limelight?
Guys, marriages are beautiful. Marriages are beautiful, especially if, you know, the parties walk into that situation, into the marriage with good intentions. Marriages are a sanctuary. Like, I loved being married. Okay. I love being in a relationship, but like a solid relationship. As in, you're my person, I'm your person. Yeah. We go out there, we hold hands.
But isn't that what marriage is?
That's what I'm saying.
Because that's what we tend to believe, right? Like, okay, let's move it to that point. But the minute you move it to that point, somehow. Somehow, I don't know.
Yeah, but marriage is I enjoyed being married, guys.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
I would walk in and be like, do a little dance, Chinese dance, you know? You know, and then one day it changed, and it was just like, and the change is so overwhelming, and it hits you so hard.
So sudden,
and it's like, you don't know how to pick up. I remember there was a conversation, and it was like, let's fix, and I was like, what? Start from where? Because it was just so much. Yeah, but like, married guys, I still encourage, go get married, please. Find you a home.
I do believe, but I do find that people in your position struggle with the glare, the public glare. I find that, in my experience, exerts unfair pressure.
I think it can still be protected, cocooned. It can still work.
How?
It can still work. It can still work in the sense that, because in your privacy of your own home. Yeah. I know when you start saying my smile maker.
Oh, yes.
And then, and then you are postering, and all these other women are sitting there and saying, "Nam yam phone as."
So that's real. That, like, because I always think with no, man, you're selling yourself short. You're selling your partner short by thinking that some strange phenomenon is going to look at them and think, "No, I'm phone."
Like I always say, I always used to say, if we can host, and now everyone is gone, and it's just us, we are picking up those glasses and those plates from the floor, and we are still friends and we're still cool.
Yeah.
Then
what is it about?
Yes. Yeah. But not when the friends leave and then the sudden tension. Do you understand? Like, we still need to be cool about it. Like, please pass me that glass. Let's go wash the dishes. That works. In that sense. That's how it should work. But does it?
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle. You be like, what did you mean when you said this?
What exactly?
Yeah. And somebody said this and you laughed. it is such a
it's tough.
It is tough. But I think that you stay in it when it works and you leave when it doesn't work.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer.
And it can be sudden or it can be prolonged. You decide, but I do believe that it is a beautiful.
It is.
Old-fashioned institution that you must just modify to suit your current situation.
Currently, yeah. That man was, and again, I feel like for me, rejecting all these other parts, it was for me to be in that space, in that stage, at that time, in that period with him. I didn't go to varsity for being in the industry, for acting and whatever. He was my professor. Menzie was my professor, guys. And I've been asked so many times, like, have it really happened? I was like, guys, we were literally colleagues. So not even after, I was like, I didn't even know where he lived at some point. And when I said I was leaving, one of the production assistants coordinators was like, I don't want to tell you, but when they heard that you resigned, they laughed. They were like, what is she going to produce? Because somebody asked, what is she going to do? And somebody was like, oh, she wants to go and be a TV producer. Somebody was like, a producer what? Fed cakes.
I don't get such jokes.
Yeah.
You know? Would you do it again? I mean, come on.
Look, I'm a built guy.
Look at you. I come on.
Okay, here's the thing. 17.
Yeah.
I meet my first boyfriend. 26, we break up. So that man raised me. Okay. There's a 2-year gap. We tried, some Caucasians every now and again. There was a Caucasian there. There was and then there was in that 2-year gap, tried other things, tried other people, tried like I said, other races. And then at 28, I meet my ex-husband, and then we divorced in 2014. And then in 2015, I meet somebody, and then we are together for 5 years until 2019, and then got in a long-distance relationship. So point I'm making is that I build. I walk into it, and I'm here to stay, and I'm here to build. Okay. So based on that, chances are that I'm not closed off to it. I'm really open to it, because I love it. I love that home bit. Like, my son is here. He'll tell you. My kids are like, when is she coming home? She will come cook for us. Because they enjoy my food. They enjoy my company. I mean, we were driving somewhere with him the other day. I was like, Mom, there's never a dull moment with you.
Nice.
You're like the coolest chick I know,
Because he's a grown boy. And for him to still find you cool. Yeah. That is very important. Yeah. That is, I also like laying out with mine is 18. Yeah. Let's talk a bit about where you started. And this is important. I'll tell you why. Your generation are if I was to write a book, I would call you guys the original influencers. Yes. I agree. Yeah. I would say that was the initial influencing. When it was still credible, when representing a brand. Yeah, I agree. When the brand attached itself to you. Brand association was important. Not that the current makeshift influencing, gig economy influencing doesn't work. But you did Dark and Lovely.
First phase of Dark and Lovely.
In South Africa, right?
In
Huge.
Africa.
Okay.
First phase of Dark and Lovely, first phase of Lux, first phase of Pons,
and Sunsilk. Yeah.
And then there was another one. Yes. City Power also approached me at some point. Do the little commercials, be in the kitchen with the kettle, and teach people that you don't have to fill the kettle
I remember that. I remember that.
So there was something else, but man, it was. Then I did cuddlers.
Yeah.
The nappies. with my son.
Yeah.
It was quite a few of them. There was quite a few of them.
Like if for academic purposes, I'd have to study that to actually find what the source of influencing became. You know, it's faster now.
Yes.
Yeah. How long was the contract back then?
The contract back then was a year, but obviously would be renewed if the campaign did well.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were, I mean, when you talk about original influencing, guys, I'm not lying. Beyonce would be in the country, would be the first people to see them. You know what I mean? Like Obama would be in the country,
And then
would be
you'd
like
be
they'd select a few from the cast and say, you and you and you're going to be the ones you're going to be dining with them. So it was before the pictures, but
yes.
If we could have been taking pictures there, you would be like, you met who? You know? Yeah, so it was quite cool. But it got to a point where I also was like, guys, inviting launch some, you know, hobs. Envelope. Like just I started being selective of the kind of events I wanted to go to because it just became a lot. Like because then now Lali, you are all over the place. You are this event and that event, and I needed my brand to go a certain way. So I was like, yeah, man, you're driving.
Yes, yes. No, man, yes. Tell me, in terms of now, everybody now fancies themselves some sort of brand or the other, or they're pushing one story or one belief or the other, you know, from the spiritual realm to somebody just pushing a product. What are your views on that? And I'm not saying we must talk about what's good or bad about it. I'm just trying to get your views around the current landscape of social media influencing, because back then it was before social media became what it was. I think we just had Facebook at best. Then came Twitter, then came Instagram, and now TikTok. I think
TikTok is another world. Like I don't understand.
I don't understand.
My head spins.
I want to be cool and say I understand. And it's an endless hole of a lot of nothings.
I think there's talented people there, but I also think
kuningi man.
I can't TikTok.
And I don't know, like, did you really just park your car, switch on your camera, and decide to be deep on a random Tuesday? You have these nuggets of it. Like, how do you do that? But I don't think we meant to understand. I think we should understand it, but I don't think we should participate in it.
Yes, no, definitely. Yeah. But I've seen some talented people on TikTok
great.
Where I'm like,
there's creativity
in passing, and I'll be like, oh, okay, that was.
There's creativity there.
Else.
There's creativity there, but you wouldn't find me there.
Yeah, no.
For enjoyment, for work here.
I couldn't.
So, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, in terms of, look, these days, a brand manager, a chief marketing officer, can just see somebody on TikTok and decide that is going to be the face of their campaign.
Yeah,
as an example.
Yeah.
Whereas back then, you had to be a Sonia, you know, a Sonia Mbele for, you have to win generations, you have to win this. What are your thoughts on that? The ease, let's say that, the ease of moving from one point to another, given the digital platforms, the social platforms that we have. I just want to hear your thoughts. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I don't want to debate on it. I just want to hear what you think.
I think the landscape has changed, like you rightfully noted. And I think, you know, we have a lot of millions of people in this country. And I remember I would watch people on TV and I'd be like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, Roselyne Morabedi. This Gloria, like there was so many people that I would watch and I'd be like, oh my goodness, how do I get to do that?
They seemed inaccessible.
You know what I mean?
Wow,
but you loved what they were doing. So, and then I had to do my research. I had to I remember one of our neighbors was an actress, and I remember going to her house, and I'm like, can you please tell me how this was done? It's like, there's no manual. Like, do you know what I mean? I've been given talent, and I'm pursuing my own talent. I'm not an agent. I can't book you.
Yeah.
So do your research. And yeah, I was like, okay. I went and I did my research, and I looked at all the agencies.
Okay.
Gano was one of the best at the time.
Yes.
And I went in. Luckily for me, the day I went in, there was a guy called oh my God, how am I forgetting his name? But anyway, Jonathan Taylor. He was going to kill me
if you forgot his name.
He was
hey, Jonathan Taylor.
Hello, Jonathan. So he was one of the actors there.
Yeah.
But some of the bookers were busy. I think they were on lunch and whatever. And then he was like, "No, I'll read with her." And then the scene was that I'm a girl from varsity coming back home, and then I find Dad in the lounge.
How old are you at this point?
I was early 20s.
Okay.
19 going on 20, something like that.
Okay.
So in the scene, they're auditioning me to see if they can book me.
Yeah.
Or put me in their books.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not
You're not even auditioning for anything. This is Gano seeing if they should.
Yeah, I'm worth it or not.
Ooh.
So I'm like, okay. They're like, so you're gonna walk inside the house, and then you find Dad, and then you've got suitcases, and you must explain to him, what are you doing home in the middle of March?
The term, yeah.
With your suitcases, you know? So I remember I walked in, put the suitcases down, and as I was closing the door, I turned around and I went, and then I turned around, I was like, Dad, and he was like, hey baby, what are you doing here? So now I have to explain that I left school.
Yeah.
Just that moment, Jonathan was like, done.
That's it.
Because nobody would think of taking a moment to actually pause.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, this is what I'm about to do.
Yes.
Here we go now, you know? So that moment alone, and Jonathan was like, we have to take it. We have to put it in our books. And you know, my life has never been the same ever since.
So being put on the books, you see, this really kind of like uncovers a very important step towards being discovered. You had an agent had to find you, whereas today I can just launch a TikTok account and get as many views as I possibly can and trend maybe for one thing or the other, and off we go. Very interesting times. Yeah. Look, it has opened a lot of doors for many people, but the processes aren't the same.
No, they're not. And again, I think we live in the times, right? We live in the times. I must say, there's I'm not on TikTok at all. Like, I literally pass by and then my kids will be giggling and I'm like, because I still need to see what they're watching. I'm like, what are you giggling about? And then I'll watch for 2 seconds and I'll be like, waste of time. Or I'll be like, talent there, you know? So I think that's the world we live in, guys. Let the TikTokers TikTok.
So you and I are now talking about the power of networks.
Yes.
And the fact that two of your children are somewhat dabbling in the same spaces.
Yeah.
That you move in.
And it was never a rush. For me, it was take your time.
Yeah.
And they did. I mean, my older son tried psychology. Then at some point it was like, okay, went to varsity college and then tried something else. And then at some point it was, I want to be a pilot. And at some point he was just chilling at home and I'm leaving. And I'm leaving you sitting on this side because that's where the sun is.
Yeah.
And then I come back, you've moved to the other side because the sun is shifted. I was like,
yeah. It's very frustrating.
No, not on my watch.
Yeah.
So let's go. Even if you sweep the floor at the office.
Exactly.
But you are coming with. Because I'm not going to sit here and allow you to bum your way into oblivion or like whatever you are being a bum right now. No insults. You're my son. I love you.
Of course.
But like, let's go. Let's go do something. Pick a cable. Like, do something.
Yeah.
You know? And it so happened that both of them were a similar in terms of age. more or less the same age. So the one found a department, loved it. The one also still had to find a department. And we were like, take your time.
Yeah.
Is it sound? Is it camera? Is it office? Is it runner? Is it what? Where do you fit in? Until he found his passion. And today he is excelling in that space.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We were talking about why we should not be apologetic about introducing our loved ones.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you.
But I find that, the Jewish community is all about legacy,
helping each other
networking, helping each other out, building. Bring whoever's son. The Indian community, I can say that, right?
I think it is. I think it's appropriate. I don't know, Indian community. Yeah.
So that's how it is.
Yeah.
But we are shunning away. We are shy because we're like, yo, no, bazoti, bazongleba.
You know what it is? Literally, as we were speaking about it, I stumbled upon why it was vulgarized for us.
Why?
Because we never owned anything. So we always had to go through hiring processes.
I see.
We never owned
now,
the means of, you know what I mean? It literally just hit me. If it is your company, if it is my company, which the communities you and I have just spoken about, they've always owned the means of production. They've always done the hiring. They've always set the rules.
Yes.
We've never set the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've never set the rules. We've always had to follow the rules. And then we went a step further, as we tend to do. We then started gatekeeping each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I
mean?
And
I mean, I still suffer from that till today. I mean, there was a time when we had a meeting with one of my clients and they were like, yeah, the problem is with Sonia is that she was a one-woman show. I'm like, so is Oprah Winfrey, so is Shonda Rhimes. It's just that they brought in people into their fold that they trust.
Yeah.
But that's the only difference.
Trust.
Do you understand? And now they used those people as their support system.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Mina, I am a one-woman show. It looks like she's a one-woman show because I don't have that structure. I don't have that support structure. I don't have the support at all. I have to wait for that long for feedback, like a month for feedback. When we're supposed to be moving and we can't move without your feedback. Yeah. So now we have to go find something else to do while we're waiting for this feedback. And then while we are busy with that, then feedback comes and we have to drop that and then go back to that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like we are quick to label. We are quick to say, no, ushulekile, or she's overwhelmed, or she's that. But if there's no support, hence then now I will bring my own people that I know that when I give instructions to, they'd be adhered to.
There's people I always move with.
Yeah.
Look, I do believe that they've been penalized for being Nkosi's people.
I can
Unfortunately,
imagine. I can imagine.
In a very competitive media industry, magazine industry in particular. Everywhere I went, I would leave and shame my people would have to follow.
Yeah.
I'd have to go get them because for some reason there are Sonia's people or Nkosi's people, which is fine.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But you want people that you can trust.
Yes.
You want people that you can build with.
Yes.
You want people that are not going to be sources.
Yes.
So
agents.
So tell me something. I want us to go a little bit back because this is a very important point of your career. Ntombi in generations.
Yes.
That girl, man, that girl.
Guys, that girl till today, I can't breathe. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything.
Without being that girl or that girl
being that girl or that girl just being a ghost, That
haunts you.
That haunts me. But
are you not similar to her though?
No.
Is it? What? Ntombi was not. Ntombi
was for sport, I think.
Ntombi?
She had elements of being for sport and she was very confrontational.
Maybe I like Ntombi.
Maybe you liked Ntombi.
Because I didn't anything wrong. Maybe I like Ntombi because I'm like, let's go. Let's dance and be done with it. Let's sweat a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
she was more feistier.
Feistier than you.
Yeah.
Would there be times to be like, hey, don't be like,
no. I would be like, what wouldn't don't be doing?
Like, let me try.
How wouldn't don't be handle this?
Hey, man. So, Ntombi, look, Ntombi was a powerhouse, you know, and I think for me, and I'm the generation that used to run. Well, I was not allowed to run after 6 January, but at 8 we knew, you know, it's
time.
It's time. And the original powerhouses they were Garabo, Connie Ferguson,
Ntsiki.
Oh, Ntsiki, Pamela Nomvet, Sophie, and then came Ntombi. And Ntombi shook that boat a bit.
And I was quite arrogant a little bit in terms of how I got that role.
Is it? Tell me how you got that role.
I was with my agent and they sent me to audition for, you know, a bit part. That's what they used to call them.
Yeah.
At Generations. And I looked at the script and I was like, 5 calls. I was like...
What are 5 calls? 5 calls are the number of times
they call you
on set.
Or called on set.
I think that's...
And
I know what it is, but I don't think
I
don't think the TikTokers...
No, of course, the TikTokers.
I love you guys.
Are there every day, you know, doing their own thing.
Yeah, so 5 calls means that you have to be called 5 times to shoot your scenes.
And I remember saying no. And my agent was like, what do you mean? I was like,
Generations.
No, I'm not. I feel... My spirit tells me I'm supposed to go there and shake things up.
Okay.
And I can't shake things up with this 5 calls. No, they'll decide after that. I said, no, there's a bigger role that is meant for me in that space.
Wow.
Because I feel so strongly about, and there was a time when I used to say, oh, guys, God, I used to say, like, God loved me. He still does. But I would literally think about something. I'd be driving, see a billboard at Dakenavli. I'm like, I'd like that.
And then,
do you know what I mean? And it would happen. So
I feel you.
Yeah.
Happens like that.
Yes.
You, and I think it happens for a lot of people.
Yes.
Where
you feel favored, like
you feel,
highly favored.
Highly favored.
Yeah.
You would literally feel like this is some deja vu because I'm sure I've spoken to somebody about this or this.
So for me, it was like, no, I'm not taking it. And my agent was like, what do you mean? And then there was conversations, there were caucuses. She's refusing to take the role. I was like, guys, there's a bigger, do you understand that I know in my spirit that there's a bigger role.
Because you have to receive it. You have to kind of like be welcome to it.
Yes.
Be ready and receptive for it. Otherwise, it might just,
And then they auditioned me for a role that was played by somebody else. And then I didn't get it because I didn't look like I could be a mother of, at the time, I was very petite. You know what I mean? So I didn't look like I could be a mother of a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old.
Okay.
So, but they loved it so much, that audition. Because it was one of the big auditions. You know, when the big roles, when they're like, there's a big role that you've been waiting for. There you go. I went and auditioned for that part. I didn't get it because I didn't look the part. But they put me on a retainer for 3 months while they were writing Ntombi in.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
So that's why she was so big, because I felt it in my spirit.
And you carried that, yeah? Like when
I felt it.
I remember, we were like, would you rather be this one or Ntombi? I was like, Ntombi's more fun. Oh, you know, it comes across. I say to my teams, the mood we are in at a shoot, when we create something, the final person who's going to purchase that product or view it and consume it, they actually can sense if, you know,
it's a calling.
It's a call. Yeah. You can actually sense with we really felt Ntombi, and I think that's why you can't shake it off.
Yeah. And for me to show you what it was a bigger calling, you know, I had kids, obviously, and I wouldn't want to, I compartmentalize my life. I don't mix. I'm not an Oros. I don't. Don't mix me. You know. So I would literally go home, That's time for me and my kids. I don't want to see a script. I don't want to smell it. I don't want it next to me. Because my kids were still young. Also, they probably would have taken it, torn it into 1,000 pieces. So when I would go home, I would focus on home. Get home, cook, feed the kids, do whatever, we do, hang around until it's bedtime, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, go to work. So some people would think it's unprofessional, but for me, it was a spiritual thing where I don't want to know what Ntombi is doing until that moment. I can't.
That's your method.
I can't read lines and then tomorrow must come regurgitate. How I played her now current and fresh.
Okay.
To a point where they had lockers and then they would put all our scripts in the lockers and my locker would be falling off because the scripts were packed in there and they're like, well, you never take your scripts home. I'm like, because I don't need them. I need, she's in the space. She's here and I need to make her come alive here. So they'd be like, okay, Mom Rosie, please take out the scripts and throw them out. So at some point they were like, should we print them for you? I was like, no, don't, because you're wasting paper. But for me, it's literally, I wait until I walk on set, the director comes in, and we call it plotting, where he's plotting, she's plotting, like you're going to be standing there, she's going to come in, and then she's going to slap you, and then you're going to be like, oh, can't believe you, and then she's going to slap you again, and you're like, oh, can't believe you did it again, you know what I mean? So as I'm standing there looking at my lines, I would get so excited. Like I would have this reverberating energy on some, don't be doing this today. You know what I mean? Like I'm finding out now. And so that energy, that's what I brought into it because it was so exciting, so fresh. So now, let's do it. Like I didn't have time to think about it 10 times and re-coach myself from this direction to that direction. Yeah.
How you... thespians do your
methods.
Do your methods. I once read a funny story. I don't know if I believe it. But one of my journalists told me that there was a character on set. It might have been after you, I'm not sure. Who had the same name as his real name. You can and they struggled to get out of character. And it was causing problems at home. We used to laugh about that all the time. Because this was not a particularly nice person. And the partner at the time was apparently complaining the person just doesn't know how to. And then I read later on that for some actors, it is the only way they can live the role and be authentic to it, is to properly immerse yourself.
Menzie would take his scripts, go learn them at home, come to work 2 hours early, still go through his lines. And then once we're done with makeup and hair, he'd be like, please come and help me run my lines. If you know what I'm saying. So there's people who were just and then even when he walked into the studio, to him it wasn't a studio, to him it was New Horizons. So he would be like, my house, my studios, my company, I need to say. So at first you think it's weird, but then you realize that's how it makes sense to him.
That's how it has to be.
So he'd be like, did you check my house?
Like, okay, sure.
Yeah, but like I got it. I was like, it's actually, that is your... Essentially.
It's fascinating. About Menzie, we are there now.
Yes.
What a loss. Jeez, man.
That man was... And again, I feel like for me, rejecting all these other parts, it was for me to be in that space, in that stage, at that time, in that period with him. I didn't go to varsity for being in the industry, for acting and whatever. He was my professor.
Okay.
Guys, he was my professor. He was generous. When I say generous, I'm talking about with his time, with his giving to you back. Like he never left, like he never gave you 90%. He always gave you 100% of what you were getting. And what I liked about it is that we were each other's fans.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's
like
important,
we would do a scene this way, and then the next scene, like I change it completely. And then the third time you change it completely, be like, how Billy confess. You know what I mean? He was like my hype man.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, that sounds so cool.
Exactly. And then with him, I'd be like, oh, guys, don't. If you're going to be in a scene with Menzie, better come. Know your stuff. Because he won't tolerate you fluffing your lines and still being all over the place. Like, he would, if he walks in and he threw that door, and he stood there and it took 2 minutes before he could say his line, let him be. Let him be. Don't cut. Don't say it. Don't do that. Don't disturb. That's him.
That's him.
You know, taking over that character and immersing himself in that character. Menzie was my professor, guys. And I've been asked so many times, like, did that really happen? I was like, guys, we were literally colleagues. So not even after, I was like, I didn't even know where he lived at some point. Like, I didn't know his house. I didn't know if it was in the south, east, west. But when we met in that space, that's what we did. We were in that space.
It also helps when you don't sully it.
Yeah.
Not knowing, you know what I mean? Especially when somebody's like your mentor, you don't want to ruin that.
Yes, don't ruin that.
Don't ruin that by
now
being
having
friends.
drinks over the weekend. We never had drinks, ever.
I get you. Yeah, there's just some people that think, I don't want to be your friend. I just want to sit by your feet.
Yes.
And learn from
learn.
you. Yeah.
And that's exactly
I totally get you. Now that leads us to the most famous scandal in the history of South African television. 16 lead actors.
Yeah.
Pack up and leave.
Yeah.
Give me your autopsy of that.
Autopsy.
Because...
Okay. So I was there for 9 years. And I remember every year it would just be... I think in the beginning you're excited and then you want to grow, you want to... Especially if you are then in an environment where it's like, it's exclusive to us.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, but I want to do a movie here and there. And then people want you because you are that person, right? You are that character. And then Hollywood would come, knock on the door, but now you can't take that Hollywood.
You did Hollywood though. I still have seen you in a Hollywood thing.
But it would be with fighting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The agent had to fight, and at some point...
What was the role again? You did an international thing.
I did a couple, but I don't know which. Yeah, but
yeah. But it was not what you would have wanted. It would have been hard one.
It would have been
by the time
fighting.
there,
exactly. Now I must pretend that I'm sick for a week so I can go shoot that.
No.
So do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was never she's got that opportunity.
Let's give it a space.
Don't be go on holiday for a while. She'll come back. It was always like exclusive. And you've signed an exclusivity contract and you can't do anything else, you know? So it was very tough. And then with all of that said, you go and negotiate. Now you are like, okay, contract negotiations. And then you are told, and you're like, what part of negotiating are we doing or negotiations are going on? If I walk in ready, I would do my homework, I would go get the ratings. I knew how Ntombi did in terms of the demographics with the men, with the ladies, with the grandmothers. So I would go there ready, like I'm ready to come. Let's talk. Let me show you what this girl is doing for your show.
Yeah.
Right? And I'd be like, no, there's no point. We're giving you 2% increase.
Here's a contract. It's
prepared. A contract. And when I saw him walking across to go get water, I would run after him like, who is she? He went, he turned around, he looked at me, he went, think of the Joker. And then I went, actually, she is the girl that doesn't give a fuck. That she is like...
So what's next for you?
I don't know, wherever God takes me.
Is it?
But there are a couple of projects that we're working on. I get there, how? Pick and Pay. Namagarachi, kunabo manandosi, kunabo Hey, I'm like
Zimbabwe.
I'm like, and that's what I was there for. And then I pitched something which they liked, and I'm gonna be going there quite a lot.
So you're doing it.
It's work. So it became like a fight every single time. It's like, okay,
9 years of that.
9 years of that. And then at some point I was like, okay, I don't think I can do this anymore. Especially since also I wanted to change things from behind, because there were things that were happening just in terms of us and them that I didn't like. And I was like, then you can't sit here and complain about it. Then go be behind the scenes and be the change you want to see, right?
Yeah.
You want to see change? Go be the change. So I left a year early, but I could feel it, man, because
it was brewing.
It was brewing. It was brewing because I would be the first person to march in the production office and be like, guys, we are not happy about this, or this is not, you know what I mean? And then I became the, and I had a restaurant in Vilakazi at the time. And when I said I was leaving, one of the production assistants coordinators was like, I don't want to tell you, but when they heard that you resigned, they laughed. They were like, what is she going to produce? Because somebody asked, what is she going to do? And somebody was like, oh, she wants to go and be a TV producer. Somebody was like, a producer what? Fat cakes? Because I had a restaurant in Soweto.
What, fat cakes?
Yeah, it's in Amakwenye.
That's,
you know what I mean? Yeah, but it's funny now.
And I've been there when you were there.
Yeah.
You never even had fat cakes. You had fat cakes on your menu. Did you? No. It was just being mean.
It was just mean, yeah.
I don't get such jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, I see now. It's actually funny.
Yeah, it is funny. Come on.
It is funny. I was this case funny.
So no, that fueled me even more. Yeah, I was like, you know what? Now I'm going to be the first. Like, I'm not going to produce on a lower level. I'm going, like, so that fueled me. Because that was like, okay, let's show you. Let's show you.
Also, the restaurant was actually fine dining.
It was.
I remember your extensive wine list.
Yes.
Very impressive. Very good steaks.
Yes.
It was like a proper...
It was a proper
setup. Yeah, I remember that. Setup. So no, I don't know. We never had any fat cakes there. I don't like such things. But that
fueled me. So that gave me the I was like, I'm gonna have the audacity.
Yes.
I'm actually going to have the audacity.
It fires you up when somebody does that. And I'm glad you heard that.
Yes.
Because it keeps you going.
Yeah, because otherwise I would have chilled.
Yeah, it keeps you going.
I probably would have ended up with Mzansi Magic movies. Do you know what I mean? Like, I probably, because that's where I started.
We love Mzansi Magic.
No, but what I'm saying is that's where I started. Yeah, but I'm sure that's where I would have...
You would have...
thought, this is my niche. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe this is where I should... Because I only did 2 movies for them, and from then on, it was like, did them so well that it was like biggest thing that I pitched got picked up, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
So your big pitch was Real Housewives.
My big pitch was, I had tried working on it, and I've said this story too many times. I'm sure people are tired. I had worked on it in 2013.
Yeah.
But I don't think the country was ready, guys.
Okay.
It was too soon. And then 2017, tried again. And the question I would always be asked is that, who are these women? Who are they?
Where are they? Watching Real Housewives franchises?
No, but in the South African terms, who are they?
So you had to go find the women.
Yeah, who are they? Where are they? Are they interested? Are they interesting?
Yeah.
To watch. So I thought, you know what? Maybe I should put them on tape, but not audition against the wall. We'll literally set it up diary style.
Yeah.
Because then for somebody who knows the franchise, works on the franchise, that's the first thing you're going to recognize. Those diary sessions, those master interviews.
Yeah.
So that's how we did them. So we packaged it, the audition, in a master interview. So makeup,
everything,
hair, wardrobe, the sets, we did it that way and edited it, intercut. And then that's when they saw it. I don't know if you know what I mean. 2013, that we didn't do that. Hence, they were like, how is it going to work? But when we did that in 2017, then they saw them on camera, dressed up, diary. They were like,
sense.
Oh, okay. Here they are. Yeah.
How do you pick the ladies?
Or
do they come to you?
No. Now, I suppose, because the franchise is doing so well all over, people will DM and say, you know, but I'm done, guys. Sorry.
Are you not doing it anymore? Okay.
It's a lot. I ended up in a hospital, almost died, so it's okay.
Stressful.
stressful. My organs were failing. I had, This mark here is from drips. These marks here are from drips.
Just keeping everything together.
Keeping everything together. So,
for health reasons.
It
looks very stressful. It stresses me.
It's quite.
Look,
it's you as somebody who's
because I'm a media practitioner, so I can kind of get a sense of what it takes to get
wrangle
every
wrangle.
Like it's like heading cats, like together. Let's go. And then no.
No.
We need. I would lose.
And it gets to a point where they would they phone each other like, Chomi, I'm gonna be 2 hours late. No, another 2 hours late. Do you know what I mean? So it becomes like.
Yeah.
Like what you are trying to do is not doing.
It's not doing the thing.
Because now it's yours is a lot. So guys, I almost died, South Africa, but thank God I'm alive. I've got scars to show for it. I was hospitalized for.
I'm sorry to hear that, I did.
For a while.
We're just tired.
Like, okay, so you have a director, right? And then as a producer, you watch the director's cut.
Yeah.
And then you go there to watch the director's cut. This instance, our director jumped on to Love and Hip Hop. So now, for the first time, I had to do the director's cut. I've never done that before. So now I'm doing the director's job and then my job and then...
It's a lot.
I never saw my kids. I was coming home. I was irritable. I was shouting. I was screaming. I was crying. It was just like somebody would be like, "Are you okay?" And I'd be like,
I'm sorry through that.
So it's just a lot of work.
There's a lot of moving parts. I always feel I don't like things with a lot of moving parts that I can't control.
Which is fine. If you have the support, it's fine. But if you don't have the support, then also it's just like, okay. All right then.
But also it's very different to the original in the US. I get a sense that the ladies on those shows,
they understand television.
They understand the risks, they understand the investment, they understand
and
what
we
they
try
want.
to workshop. Because for me, I don't do anything without a workshop. I will workshop you. I will take you through, this is how Atlanta worked and that is why it worked. This is how New York's worked and now you know what I mean? And with the season, you couldn't have been trendsetter, quote unquote. Doesn't mean anything, please don't take offense. Trendsetter in a sense that you approach NBC, you bring the show, becomes first of its kind in the country, in the country, and then now it has grown to that level. And then you go on a hiatus for a couple of years and then you come back the same. So for me, I also had to think, I remember my first time with the client, NBC. I was like, I didn't know how to cast season 1. I was stumped. I was like, I don't know how to cast this thing. And they were like, what is the one thing that makes South Africa or Johannesburg unique? I was like, what do you mean? They were like, look at New York. All of them, the one thing they have in common is that they stay in apartments, Upper West Side, Lower East Side, whatever.
And they go to the Hamptons.
And they go to the Hamptons. That's their lifestyle. So find something that speaks to that. And I went, mother and daughter. Mother and daughter relationships.
That's when you brought in
the Madame and Menzie. You know what I mean? So with this season, it was like, okay, we've done all of that. We've done... What is unique? And I was like, every woman who has coin in this country has a gay bestie.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So that's the element we try to bring into the season.
I see. But you're done with that now?
Yeah.
I think I think you will think. I think I think you will.
Can I go to that show?
No, I think you're tired. I know what you mean. I think you're tired. I think we'll talk about it off camera. But then you did a beautiful thing, and I'm so happy that I actually spoke to you when you were, remember, Honey, Pastor's Wives. You did the first season of that. I think they're now doing it themselves.
In-house.
In-house. They're now doing it in-house. I love the concept of that. It was really nice because Pastor's Wives are very glamorous.
Yeah.
They're very spicy. I loved that as well. How was that for you?
For me, it was great because it was like, something new, something fresh, something. And look, you try and go for those pastas, the ones. The The ones, Zama Bentley, Nama. You try and go for those ones, and none of them agreed. Like none, even the ones that I knew that I thought would be like, oh, come on, it's Sister Sonia.
Yeah,
they were like, no, we don't want to get into trouble. We don't want to be under scrutiny. We don't want to be. So I was like, okay, find interesting characters who are pastors. So now we reconfigured it in a sense that cast people who are likely to be pastors' wives, but they are, if you know what I'm saying. Okay. So that's how it worked. That's a nice one.
You want to talk about Deep City? I loved you there.
Really?
No, it was different. It showed your range.
Yeah.
It showed range.
We do have range, guys.
Yeah, no, it really showed range. It was very different to Ntombi, for example, or the other person. It really, really showed very dark side of you.
Yeah.
It showed range. I enjoyed you there.
I like Zon. I mean, one thing about Umandla, which again, he's one of my mentors. Like I look up to Mandla so much. He lives in a world of his own. And I was trying to get the character. I was like, Mandla, who is she? Because I also don't want to play her differently. He was like, think, Sonia, you'll figure it out. And then I kept on persisting. When I saw him walking across to go get water, I would run after him like, Mandla, who is she? He turned around, he looked at me, he went, think of the Joker. And then I went, actually, she is the girl that doesn't give a fuck. That she doesn't
like, no,
she would walk into a
liberating.
Room. Yeah, she would walk into a room, shoot you, look at the witnesses and say, Ningbonile ne?
I did it. And I did it. And it was fun.
It was fun.
We'll do it again.
That's why.
She was very unhinged.
So that's why I because I kept on saying to Mandla, who is she? Mandla was like, I don't think of. And then one day he looked at me, he was like, think of the Joker. And I went, I can do that.
It was like, oh man, the freedom to just she was fun. You know what I mean. For me, it showed your range. Because we've always been packaged in a way that people, I suppose, they didn't want you. I suppose they missed in Ntombi. I don't know what it is.
Yes,
but I remember even when you had to have your magazine covers, would always look at what Ntombi used to wear. And you know what I mean? And then come and match it because that is what the people love so much. And I think for the first time, for me, I saw you as something completely crazy. But I loved it. So what's next for you?
I don't know. Wherever God takes me.
Is it?
But there are a couple of projects that we're working on that,
Do you want to actually know? We're not. Do you want to talk about Zimbabwe? Actually.
Oh, wow.
I can't believe I almost forgot this. Like, talk about this.
Yeah, before we go.
Yeah. Okay. What is happening in Zimbabwe?
Yes, I was so... My son and my mom were calling me. They were like, what went wrong? I went to Zim in 2018.
Okay.
I have business partners there.
Okay.
I wanted the right to Mugabe's story.
Okay.
So I went to stay in Zimbabwe for a bit, and I was on standby because he was sick. He was out of the country. And then he was coming back. So I wanted to do the rights to his story, like think of your Idi Amin and whatever. Because me, I go for the rights.
Yeah.
I'm that girl.
Yeah, I get you. Yes.
Yeah. So, because I've learned the hard way. If you don't have the rights, it's not yours. It's not yours.
Okay.
We are saying
okay.
Yeah. So I was on standby to get the rights to his story. And then I was there for a while. And then he flew in the country. I was on standby.
Okay. Which also phone or,
like, family member, spokesperson, whatever. Because they put me, they were like, no, hang in there. We are next week. Come to Zim and just be on standby. So because you'll get that call.
And you want to be nearby.
Yeah. And guys, don't throw tomatoes at me. There was nothing in terms of eating, in terms of food, in terms of... I remember this one time, I had heartburn issues. So I was like, hey, Gavin's gone. They were like, what? I was like, Americans, they were like, who? Like, you don't find those things here. They don't exist. I was like, okay, at least I'm a smoke beef, sabo. I am soothe.
Is it? Okay.
They were like, where? Like, there was nothing. You couldn't even buy a pack of Simba chips or whatever. But anyway, on standby, then he passes on, and then, okay, all right. Now I attend the funeral.
Oh, you attended the funeral?
I attended the funeral. There's pictures and videos. I attend the funeral, and then I come back, and then I'm defeated, and then I'm like, deflated, and I'm like, defeated. I'm like, okay, he's gone. I didn't get the rights, whatever. Fast forward.
And I had heartburn for weeks.
And I had heartburn for weeks, and then there was no Gaviscon, there was no Rainies, there was nothing, you know.
Yeah.
So now, fast forward to 3 weeks ago, my business partner, the very same one who put me on standby, is like, listen, there's a movement, there's a need for business, especially in the entertainment industry here. All the talented people are left. Talented musicians, comedians, actors. It's dry. So we want somebody to come and help us unearth new talent. And I was like, oh, that one hand emoji.
Okay.
I was like, I can do that. Can I come pitch something? They were like, cool.
Okay.
Come. And then I went. It so happened that they invited other people because then they decided to make it like a tourism thing where it's like they take you to Vic Falls and all of that. But me now, I went there to go pitch this thing with my business partner that I've been business partners with 4 years.
Okay.
I get there, how? Pick and Pay, garage, Nandosi, Hey, I'm like
Zimbabwe.
I'm like,
I just go to the Vic Falls and come back. I never venture outside of the tourism.
So you must understand. So now I'm being crucified.
You were impressed by the development.
I was there when there was
nothing. Okay.
And then I'm there now, and then there's Pick and Pay each and every main corner.
Are you serious?
Not exaggerating, but do you know what I mean? So without again. People coming for me because you don't get into trouble.
No.
But basically, I was there to talk about about resurrecting their entertainment industry. And that's what I was there for. And then I pitched something which they liked, and I'm going to be going there quite a lot.
So you're doing it.
It's work.
I'm just saying, you know what it was for me.
And if it's dry, I'm that one person who goes in and tries something new. There's something I do the kind of work that other people I think are kind of afraid of. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So
no, I hear you. I think a lot of people, myself included, felt like, but which Zimbabwe are you talking about? Because everybody from Zimbabwe is here and they're telling us that there's nothing there.
Come with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I want to see this.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, and I'll have you know, it's the airport and then we were told there's nothing. We
were taken to. We went clubbing. There was like Ace of Spades were there. So
and I don't want to be that girl with the satellites, but in Zimbabwe. Okay. I like that story. I really do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? Just for me, I don't know. Do you feel you've left anything out?
Sia, is there anything else I should mention?
I don't want to talk about.
Sia's always just like, mommy, just don't. I'm like, I push, but I don't fall.
Yeah, you gotta put just here.
just here. But I don't fall.
Yeah. Look, we could talk about Donnell, but I don't want to talk about Donnell. He's a grown man.
He's a grown man, but also there was a whole story that people were not aware of. Hence, number one, as a mother, I couldn't take sides. Number one, and number two, there was a whole lot happening behind the scenes, guys. When I found out that there were pictures, there were messages, there were scratches, there were bites, there were Do you understand? They would be coming from the other side. So there were pictures that he could, like, there were conversations that, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have started. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have bitten, kicked, scratched. And hence, when the court process happened, they couldn't show up for court because then you know what is going to come out. So then they chose not to show up for about 7 times. We went there. And then the state felt, okay, if you're going to open a case and not show up,
we have to move on.
We have to move, because also we had presented, evidence from
it must
his
have put
side.
you in a very awkward position, though, because
It was, because then it became about me. And then it also became about, because also there's certain things that I didn't know. Like, there's a lot I didn't know.
There's a lot that we don't know about these people.
Yes.
No, there's quite a lot. I've got
True.
2 adult brothers.
Yes.
And I personally, I wouldn't put my head on the block and say, because they become very different people.
But it's over. It's over.
Is it done now?
Yes, the case has been thrown out. Girl didn't show up, not even once. He presented his own evidence. Let me not say we. He presented his own evidence. And even in the statement, she said, I started by, punching him or kicking him, whatever was in the statement. Again, it's open records, you can go check. So yeah. So
it's a difficult one, being boy mothers. But you remember I reached out and I said I liked the statement that you released.
Yeah.
It was very, we are kulise. They leave the nest. And what they do.
And also we are cool. Like, guys, if there's one thing about me I'm very sure of, is that I'm a good mother. Call me whatever. Call me, hey, Sonia Mbele, what's going on? You understand? You in midlife crisis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or whatever. Like, call me whatever. Like, we don't think, whatever. When is she gonna find a man? Is she with the man? What's wrong with her? Is she gone? Like, whatever. One thing I'm certain of is that I'm a good mother. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
you. So good to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
This is lovely.